Holy mortgage market shakeup. We are halfway into 2025, and this year has exploded onto the scene with purchases, acquisitions, shakeups, technological advancements. Today, we're going to dissect some of the most recent announcements in the mortgage industry. Lower mortgage, purchases, the real estate lead aggregator Movoto. What does that mean to the industry? What does that mean for Movoto? What does that mean for Lower? Matt Ishbia, through UWM Live, announced to over 3,000 brokers who were in attendance how UWM is rolling out the technology of the future to support the broker growth utilizing AI assistance. On this episode, JC and I are going to do a deep dive into both of these most recent announcements and how the rest of us can prepare to keep up, stay ahead, embrace, and be a part of changes like these. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus, you are tuned in to the Loan Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and my main man,
JC
John Coleman.
Dio, what's poppin'?
Yo, I like what you and the team are doing with the podcast set.
Oh, I guess so.
Yeah, I feel like every episode we're like making one more tweak, one more adjustment, one more step towards betterment.
There it is.
We are living James Clear's 1% Better.
Never heard of him, nor have I read the book. I had it in my Amazon cart, and then I was going to check out. I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
You should read the book, John. It's actually a good read. It's not a hard read. It's not a boring read.
They got pictures?
Yes, there's pictures in there. At least drawings, but they're not full color pictures. No, they're not. No, they are not. No, I'm dead ass tired today. My flight got in at 1 a.m.
Would you fly Delta?
I flew Delta.
Okay.
They almost made it as cold as my last flight, but my attendant this time was a little bit more engaged. And when she saw I was freezing cold, she said, would you like me to turn the heat up a little bit? I said, yes, please. I felt like a child.
Nice.
But no, I was so fortunate. And I want to say thank you to Chris Parker, to Desmond, to Alan Baydoun, the entire United Wholesale Mortgage crew.
Oh, yeah.
Allowed me to be a part of their event, UWM Live. It was a great event. Like, you can tell why UWM is what and who UWM is today.
They got a nice campus?
Yeah, it's massive campus. Like, massive. It's like, we live in Orlando. So if you're in Orlando, we have campuses, but usually it's like for the military defense contractors, Lockheed Martin, Siemens, companies like that. They have that. It's just in Auburn Hills, Michigan, and it's for the entire mortgage industry.
Damn.
Yeah. So no, it was a great event. And what they have is like this massive field house that he built that like all the youth sports teams come and play at, which you got to think when you're in Michigan, it's all indoors most of the time because the weather sucks.
Go Blue.
Except for 3 months out of the year.
Yeah.
But there were 3,000 people. Bill Belichick was one of the keynote interviews. Of course, you had some of your like staples. Barry Habib was there. But here's what I loved.
Okay.
I loved our boy Clayton Collins was there
Shout
from
out
Housing
Clayton
Wire.
Collins.
Yep. So it's always good to see Clayton and hang out. Hung out with two of our TLOP boot camp students.
Really?
Yeah. So shout out to Christian. Shout out to Stefan. It was awesome to be able to meet those men in real life, because I meet with them every week.
Right.
And I'm like up in their face and assigning them homework. But like we got to like bro out a little bit, share a beer together, take some pictures.
Break bread.
Yeah, break some bread. Shout out to Adriana Bates. Y'all, if you don't follow Adriana on social, you should.
Okay.
She is a beast of an originator. She's a badass human. She's out of Kansas City, Missouri. Mega producer, did like $55 million last year. She and her husband, which by the way, ex-NBA player, legit 7 foot tall. It was the first time I got to feel how my wife feels having to look up at everybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, my neck hurts having a conversation with him. But they run like a $200 million mortgage brokerage out of Kansas called Clear Mortgage. But Adriana came up. She's a T-Lop fan.
There you go.
So a lot of people were like, hey, where's JC? I'm like, man, he doesn't want to come here.
Nah, you're probably not.
And then there's one guy, Paul. Shout out to Paul from Pueblo, Colorado. Paul, you know who you are.
Paul,
you know I'm talking about you.
Paul, you know who you are.
You know who you are, Paul. Paul said to me, John, I'm going to love this. He said, Dio, I love how you've never punched John on air.
Yeah, then
I said, I've never punched John in person, or off air.
Paul must be a mid to low producer.
I don't know. Paul's a badass.
Run his numbers, Dustin.
Paul's a
you
badass.
have MMI him. Did you MMI him?
No, I did not MMI
Well, that's
him.
a goal for the end of this episode because I'm going to pull your fucking production, Paul, and we'll see who's going to get punched in the face.
Yeah. Paul bench presses 225 pounds like 40 times.
For what? Is he pushing loans?
Actually, he and his wife own a gym. So he owns a gym. He's an entrepreneur.
He has a bug out kit?
Like
a CrossFit gym?
I don't know if he has a bug out kit at all. But
is he like a part-time firefighter?
I don't know.
That's what, because like if you're benching that much, it has to be for a reason, like for your career. Like,
well, he actually prepares athletes for the NFL Combine.
Okay,
he's an ex NFL football, he's an ex high school football coach. Mm-hmm. He played football, and I think he's one of those, like with us, you got to practice what you preach.
Right.
He practices what he preaches. So he tells his kids, like, look, if I think Paul's about 40, if I at 40 years old can bench press 225 40 times, then I'm the right guy to coach you to get ready for the Combine. Because as you know, at the NFL Combine, bench pressing 225 is a big deal.
So he just works out players on an artificial gym, like artificial turf type thing. He'll run around these cones.
I have no idea. My favorite part was he wanted to know how come I haven't punched you in the face yet.
Because he's not a top producer.
No, that's not the right answer.
That is my answer.
No, he was very complimentary. He said, you and John are awesome together. He's just like, I love how sometimes John just tries to give you shit, Dio, and you just ignore him. I'm like, yeah, just like John ignores me sometimes.
Yeah, it's called marriage.
It is called marriage. That is 100% where it's at. But yeah, so, I mean, Adriana, a shout out.
Shout out my boy Paul.
Yeah, Paul, etc. I mean, Steph and the whole crew. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's somebody that I hung out with that, like, I missed. We had a ton of fans coming up. It was pretty cool. It was a little bit surreal, but it was like really cool.
I told you.
Shout out. I shared a Uber ride with this guy, Joe, getting back to the airport. Don't know his last name, but shout out to Joe. Appreciate that Uber ride. And of all people, Matt Ishbia. I got to meet the man, the myth, the legend himself. Matt just walked up, just very like approachable, nice, good dude.
Oh.
Yeah. You know how people always say it about you and I, oh my God, you're taller in person?
Yeah.
Matt was actually shorter in person. I just assumed, he played college basketball. He must be at least 6 foot.
Really?
6'1". Nah, he's probably pushing 5'10".
Jimmer Fredette.
Maybe he is Jimmer Fredette. Yeah, he hustles like Jimmer, I can tell you that much. So no, it was a really cool event. Thank you so much for UWM. And that's going to be a lot of today's podcast is going to be, that's big news came out of that event. Like this is their big annual event. Oh yeah, they're doing some crazy cool shit with AI. They're putting the rest of the industry on notice, right? Just like Lower, our employer made a huge splashy play this week all over national news. Like obviously guys like you and I knew about it, but we didn't know all the details. We couldn't talk about it. And now that it's happened, it's like, hey, yeah, this is what we've been talking about. This online, offline, this hybrid, this marching towards the 2030s and looking less into the 2010s,
right,
is what companies like Lower are doing, what companies like Rocket are doing, companies like UWM. Is this what life's going to be like going forward? Or is all this sizzle with no substance?
So why did Lower buy Movoto, the watch company?
It's not the watch company. It's Movoto out of Austin, Texas. You know what's really cool about this whole entire thing? So if y'all don't follow Sean Chalice, S-E-A-N, he's out of New York, New Jersey area. Sean's been around. He's been a top producing realtor. He ran in the top producing real estate coaching circles. He's now a top producing loan officer. Mm-hmm. He's a big T-Lop fan. In fact, I've been talking to Sean about maybe coming on board one day as like faculty.
Shit.
Yep. Oh, yeah, there's people like Sean, if you don't follow him, Leslie Bergen, if you don't follow her, Adriana Bates, if you don't follow her. Like, these are people that I'm looking at bringing on to be coaches at T-Lop Originator Coaching. Yeah, because we're growing. We're adding 20, 30 new members every week or two on our way to help shape the future of mortgage lending. And when I do so, I need to introduce our audience and our members to some of the best. Right? These people are like secrets that shouldn't be secrets. So I got a text from Sean. He's like, no shit, Movoto, that's freaking awesome. So the guy that I guess helped found, or he was the CEO of Movoto. I haven't met him yet. Don't even know his name.
Okay.
He and Sean back in the day worked together, and Sean's like, he's wicked smart. He's one of my favorite human beings. So we didn't buy the watch company.
Oh, okay.
And by we, I mean Lower. Yeah. But they did buy Movoto, which not many people had heard of Movoto. Realtors have. Talk to your realtors and see if they know anything about Movoto. Movoto Real Estate Leads, the website Movoto for real estate content for consumers to go to. But many realtors have heard of Redfin. They've heard of Zillow.
Yep.
They've heard of Trulia.
Oh,
And
True Leave?
No, not True Leave. You've heard of True Leave. I heard of True Leave too. I've lost my ass on the stock.
all my money in that.
Yeah, bad stock move. Bad stock purchase.
Bad True Leave.
Yeah, bad True
Bad
Leave.
True Leave.
But in that, like, if Zillow was 1 and Redfin was 2, right? And then let's say you put Trulia at 3, I think Movoto was coming in like 4 or 5
Okay.
in terms of the top websites for generating home buying leads. And those home buying leads typically need mortgages. So now a mortgage company went out and bought the a top 5 website that generates hundreds of leads per month per market. So tens of thousands of leads per month throughout the entire country. And their goal is to be able to push those leads down to their branches. Their branches can push them down to the LOs. And then the LOs can use these leads to forge the relationship with the agents that are already purchasing the leads to try to bring more value to those agents and be a true partner, right? And it's what you and I once did a show on about 7 months ago. We called it the hybrid loan officer. And a lot of people thought hybrid meant, oh, I'm going to sell real estate and I'm going to do loans. No, hybrid just means you're leveraging online marketing tactics to generate leads. It means you're racing with your real estate agent to the consumer first, while also following the traditional model of being a buy referral only loan originator. So that's what Rocket was doing, trying to buy Redfin. It's why Zillow is out actively trying to buy a large national mortgage lender. They already have a mortgage company. Their mortgage company already does several $1 billion a year. But it's been rumored that Zillow's trying to buy like a top 10 player. And it's every reason why a company like Lower, right, that is powered by Silicon Valley money, is leveraging some of that money, not just to buy tech companies and not just to acquire smaller mortgage lenders, but now it's like, no, we're going to put our money where our mouth is. And we think the future of mortgage lending has something to do with this online, offline. So I just coached 300 loan officers a month ago on how they can keep up with the Rockets and the Redfins, how they can keep up with the Lowers and the Movotos without having to go work for Rocket, without having to go work for Lower. It's just understanding if this is what's happening in the marketplace. These super smart people with a bunch of smart people with money behind them, if this is where they're going, maybe that should be our call to action to be a fast follower, right? I don't have to do it on a national level the way Rocket and Redfin are doing, or the way that Lower and Movoto are doing it. Maybe I do it on just a local level, right? That's like getting with a guy like our boy Mike Siciliano at Easy Living. And by the way, like my Orlando branch is doing this right now. Like they're getting with Mike. Mike is then getting with 2 or 3 small boutique real estate brokerages. Collectively, Mike's working with the mortgage company and the real estate company to stand up a landing page for the real estate company, and then to put ad spend behind the landing page, whether it's on Google or Facebook, to generate home buyer leads. And then the mortgage company, this branch, is partnering financially and partnering by working the leads so that they are a true partner working on this online, offline strategy. Because my Orlando branch, they want to be the preferred lender for all of the realtors in this brokerage, regardless if the lead was generated through an open house, through a newsletter, through farming a neighborhood, or online. But they're willing to financially participate, and they're willing to put some resources behind working all the leads, including the online leads, right? So you don't have to, oh, I need to now go work for Lower and because they're going to give me leads, or Rocket's my only play. No, we're not saying that at all. No, we're saying that's a phenomenal opportunity for certain people, but definitely not an opportunity for all people. But it is something we should be talking about, thinking about, so that we ourselves are not falling behind, unless you're thinking about retiring in the next 3 years. Like if you're thinking about retiring in the next 3 years,
don't listen.
Yes, like it's like first and goal on the 1 yard line and you're taking a knee. High five. Hopefully you're up by 2 or 3 touchdowns and it doesn't matter anymore. But for the rest of us who want to stay relevant, like this is some of the stuff that's going on. That's the first piece of news.
Holy shit, Dustin. I have no idea what you said, but that's fascinating. Let's take a break and hear from our sponsor.
Attention mortgage lenders. and mortgage brokers. If you're looking for that great third-party processor, check out what my boy Tyler's doing over at Hancock Processing. Their motto is do better. In order to reach Tyler and his team, go ahead and call 480-427-8335. And that email again is tyler@hancockprocessing.com.
Fascinating stuff, Dustin. Oh my gosh, that whole acquisition play. I can't believe how you just rattled that off. Didn't even take a breath. Didn't miss a step. Didn't stutter.
How much of when I'm doing that do you just tune out?
It's like, you know, when you have a class and you sit in class and all you do is stare at the clock waiting to get out of class. That's how I feel every time in the seat.
Every time? John, there's certain times you're engaged.
Certain times. Out of 500, give me a ratio. Out of 541 episodes, how many times?
I would say out of if the average episode is 37 minutes, you give me a solid 7 minutes of engagement.
Okay.
About 21% of the time. 21% of the time you are engaged.
That's a high number. But yeah, no, I'm engaged. Just, yeah, you know.
Or is it because you have to talk to me outside of the podcast that this is all old news to you?
This is actually cool because since I've built in buffers called employees, now like it's much more diffused. It's not so poignant, the interaction. So it's you know, you spread out the love of Dustin amongst other people. It's not so bad.
I feel bad. I wish I could remember his name, Emma. So Emma Henderson, who's with an AMC out of Kansas City, introduces me to one of her colleagues, right? And I met Emma at the Texas NBA.
Shout out Texas.
Yeah, and then she was at NBA Live. So I was like, oh, wow, I just met you, like hanging out. And anyhow, whatever we were talking about, he asked me the right questions. And that same energy that I just gave you in the audience.
Yeah, you gave him.
He literally, what do people say to me that it makes me so self-conscious that he said, wow, I can definitely see why you're good at what you do. And I was like, oh, is that a compliment? Or is he basically just saying, I've never heard someone speak with that much passion without taking a breath and without stuttering?
Yes.
And I didn't need to know all those details. I literally just needed to hear a 3 or 5 word answer, not a 3 or 5 minute answer.
Multiple choice question, and then letter D is all the above. That's the correct answer.
That is the correct answer?
All of the above, yep.
Yeah. So you know what? If that has ever happened to you, my apologies. I don't do it like out of malice. I do it out of excitement.
People are just weak and don't know how to end the conversation, so they just force themselves to sit there. I'll fuck around. I'll turn around in your face mid-sentence and walk away. So people need to just learn that skill. I don't know what's wrong.
I think some people, you know, manners, being polite.
Bro, after the 7th minute, I'm gone. It's after the 7th, 8th minute. Hey man, it's on you now if you continue to put yourself in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, some people are less self-aware. I'm at least self-aware. The problem is it may take me 3 to 5 minutes for that awareness to kick in. And I'm like, God dog it, I just did it again.
And that's when when you realize when you're driving home away from the event and you're like, damn it, I think I spoke too much at that. Anyway, man. But yeah, let's talk about Movoto watches and how Lower Mortgage bought them because we closed loans on time. See what I did there? And then
we're not going there.
Okay.
I just did.
I know.
Is
that the whole episode?
No, you wish.
Oh shit.
No, we had multiple things going on. Look, I'm trying to keep it positive. I don't want to go down the doldrums
okay. Let's go down the doldrums. I love this shit.
Of what?
The bad stuff.
No, nobody wants to hear that. The doom and gloom. Oh, we got trigger leads and CFPB.
Y'all
and
are still talking about trigger leads
and
still?
You know what? You want to go on the bad stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. F compliance. I said that. F compliance.
Wow, what's wrong with compliance?
It's just bullshit half the time. Oh, we just had our state of Idaho did the audit and we had to turn in the social media and we want to know why you used the word consultant and not advisor, or that's not an approved title. Who effing cares? Who is being damaged by a loan officer who called themselves a consultant and not an advisor? But you know what I've learned?
Okay.
I'm not mad at the compliance people.
Wow, you should be.
No, it's not.
They took the job.
Dude, but they're still on my side. They're still on my team.
But
their job.
That's like a RA ratting you out for smoking weed in your dorms. Like, I did it because I love you. You know I got your back. I'm like, bro, I'm getting suspended. It's the last semester of the year. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you ruining my life? Oh, it's just the rules, man. Just the rules.
And they're like, you did it to you.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't do this to you.
God, exactly.
No, compliance people have a job to do. Just like underwriters have a job to do. Right? Underwriters truly, all they want to do is drink their bottle of vodka, smoke their pack of cigarettes, stamp approve on 3 loans a day, make 120, 150 grand a year and go home. Yeah. That's really all they want to do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if they sign off on loans that go bad, they'll lose their job.
Right.
There goes their vodka. There goes their pack of cigarettes, and life turns to shit.
Right.
So I know my underwriter's not trying to be a dick. They're just trying not to get fired.
Correct.
Okay. I know the compliance department, all they're trying to do is make sure the company doesn't get sued, the company doesn't get fined, the company doesn't lose their license. That is what they're trying to do. So I don't blame them. I blame the states who are clueless. I once talked to the CFPB about an issue I was having. It was the most demoralizing conversation because I spent an hour having to teach my industry to my regulator.
Sounds about right.
And then just for them to ask questions, or for me to be like, you're still not getting it, huh? You don't know how my industry operates.
Nope.
So you wanted to go somewhere negative.
I just fired you up,
can
Dustin.
tell I just had to deal with 2 compliance audits, one for a new branch, one for a new LO. And I'm just like, WTF.
That sounds like a job for AI, so don't worry about it.
Yeah. So anyhow, no, let's keep the positivity
Okay, let's keep
going.
the positivity going.
So this is really cool. If you're in the mortgage broker space, and really and truly, if you're in the mortgage space, right, anytime that there's a big conference going on. So the MBA, the Mortgage Bankers Association, they have MBA secondary. It happens this week. So this week we're talking like mid-May every year, New York City.
Okay.
And then the Mortgage Bankers Association has their annual conference that moves from city to city. Like you and I have been to the one in San Diego. We've been to Boston. We've been to Philadelphia, Denver. Now it's going to be in Las Vegas this year. That's always in October. And big announcements come out of these conferences. Well, on the broker side of things, one of the biggest events of the year, if not the biggest event, right? You have AIMS conference, in which this year it's going to be in October in Nashville. So Jonathan, still waiting to circle back with you so we can solidify what exactly it is that we're going to be doing. But TLOP is planning on being in Nashville for this AIM annual conference. But UWM, United Wholesale Mortgage, they have their UWM live event. And when they do this event, it's literally thousands of mortgage brokers are flown to Michigan on the dime of UWM. They're put up in hotels and they put on this 1.5 day event specifically for loan originators on basically how to become better. And every time they do so, just like at the MBA secondary, just like at the MBA national, there's always big news, big announcements coming out. Well, Matt Ishbia is known for his big announcements. So last year, his big announcements was UWM was coming out with a 3% down grant program. And that thing was the shit until it was no longer the shit. And that was a lot to do with like regulatory changes. And unfortunately, UWM couldn't do anything about it, but it was taken from them. Well, the announcements that were yesterday, so this stuff is like literally like yesterday years old. 2 big ones, all AI infused. One of them is giving the broker community an opportunity to upload a competitive LE into their system, and AI will read the LE and will help them actually strategize on a similar solution for that borrower, but a more competitive one. So think about that. Like think about leveraging technology to look at another lender's loan estimate and having that technology help you put your big brain with their big brain to come up with a way to win that loan and offer a financially more beneficial solution to the consumer. So that was like, oh, all right, that's kind of cool. That was like the morning announcement. Well, the end of the event announcement, check this out. And look, I'm not saying this because I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to go to be brokers now, or oh my gosh, UWM's the best.
Brokers are always better.
I don't believe that.
I know.
I don't think brokers are worse either. How about that? Like, I think brokers are great. I think call centers are great. I love credit unions, right? I bank with a credit union. I have my auto loans with a credit union, right? I work for an IMB, but as an IMB, we still broker loans. So no, I love the mortgage industry. And what you and I do is we represent the mortgage industry. That's why we support our guy, Greg Scherer. And we're like, yeah, all of us, we're all in here for the communities we serve. We're all in here for real estate as an investment, real estate as a way to generate wealth. We're here to support home buyers and real estate agents. Like truly, I believe that, and you can say it's corny, it's cliche, etc. So I don't want people to think, oh, it's just on here pitching UWM, it's just on pitching here lower. Like, at least with lower, y'all can give me shit because I could potentially financially benefit by helping lower. Like they pay me money to help them achieve their goals, right? But so do other mortgage companies when they hire me to come in and consult or advise or coach or do a presentation, right? I still represent the entire industry, although some companies pay me for more of my time, and therefore they get more of my time and they get more of my ideas, i.e. lower. But UWM, I don't have any dog in this hunt. And someone could say, Dio, why are you even there? You're not a broker. I'm like, because I support the mortgage industry and I love UWM, and they are the number one lender in America. So if they're doing shit, they're leading the way. So check this out. If you're a mortgage broker who's brokering loans to UWM, you now have an AI assistant for free. Like literally, you can log into your portal. You can get a specific phone number, and this AI assistant will do things like first payment calls. This AI assistant will do things like reach out to the person to schedule an annual mortgage review. This AI assistant can call and let them know that the system has recognized that a refinance may make sense. It'll then transcribe the conversation and email you, the broker, with the transcription, and it can even set appointments for you. Like this AI assistant, you can have your phone number rolled to this number they give you, and it'll actually answer your phone for you. So imagine having an assistant 24/7, 365 that can have a conversation with a potential client so that you never miss a call. And then whatever that call is, it gets recorded, and then the recording gets transcribed and emailed to you. That's pretty awesome. Now, Matt actually on stage showed us a video of him live demoing it. And I promise you, if you were there, and the 4,000 of you all were there, and thank you to all that did come up and say hi to me, that tuned into the show. For anyone who didn't, why not? Like, I like to meet people who dig what John and I do. Look, there are some latency issues, right? It would be like, ring, ring, ring. Hi, is this Matt? And then you would reply, yeah,
this is Matt.
Hi, Matt. Like, there are some definite latency issues, but because it's generative AI, it will learn. It'll learn to get quicker. It'll learn to have better conversations, right? If you could ask, like if you ask the AI, hey, AI, let's say the AI's name was Jenny. Hey, Jenny, what's the best rate Dustin could offer me? AI has learned to say, unfortunately, I'm not licensed. Therefore, I cannot quote you interest rates. But on a conversation with Matt or with Dustin, I can schedule it with you.
Gotcha.
Right. And they've uploaded guidelines. So like if you asked it most basic, like, hey, I'm just curious. I'm getting ready to make an offer. What's the minimum down payment I need? Well, down payments vary between 3% and 20%, depending on what type of loan product. Like it does that for you. And the consensus, because there's definitely plenty of people that, look, they're curmudgeons, like maybe some guy who wears green on this show, where they're naysayers. They like to poo-poo on things. There's plenty of things to poo-poo about the latency or about, oh, that's still not the same as my assistant who's a human calling. You're right. But the problem is this. Most originators aren't calling after the first payment. They're not calling to schedule annual mortgage reviews. They're not calling when rates drop, right? They're not doing it. So it's like, whatever's being done for you is way better than doing nothing at all. It's kind of like I was doing a coaching call right before you and I got on here, and I can summarize this coaching call. And Rhonda, you were on it, so you can attest to it.
Shout out Rhonda.
I said, get shit done. I kept saying, just get shit done. Quit overthinking it. Get shit done. You know what this AI does?
Get shit done.
It gets shit done. Yes. So then I'm thinking, crap. If Ishbia is offering this to his mortgage brokers, and I'm running 17 retail branches, trying to get it to 25 retail branches, what do I need to be doing? Should I be creating this type of tech? Can I maybe license Matt's tech, or is there someone else that has something similar? Or could I utilize a virtual assistant in the Philippines and have my team have something similar, if not it being the same? But both are really big announcements going on currently in our industry. It's Lower by Movoto, and it's Matt Ishbia at UWM Live, basically letting every broker know that if you're partnered with them, you now have access to a 24/7 sales assistant that is a robot that they don't have to pay anything towards. Wow. That's pretty badass.
That is dope.
Yeah. So I think for all of us, Again, it's not a call to action that we have to go become a broker and sign up with UWM. It's like, look, if UWM is offering this and their brokers are taking advantage of it, what do we need to be doing to offer something similar, right? If the Redfins and the Rockets are getting together and the Zillows are doing the Zillow things and the lowers doing the lower things, I don't have to go work for those companies, but I should recognize it and understand that this may be something where I need to be a fast follower. And I think that was the main purpose of today's podcast episode, was just to bring some of these current events to the forefront so that we as originators can make sure that we too are staying like ahead of the curve and we're not falling behind.
Well said, Dustin.
So finally, John, I'm going to say this. I want to give a shout out to everyone that jumped on our masterclass. Mm-hmm. We had 140 originators hop on this masterclass. This is a free class I do at least once a month. If you want to be invited to every one of our free masterclasses, it's really simple. Go to our website, tloponline.com, TLOP online.com, sign up for the newsletter. Okay. Once you sign up for the newsletter, you will automatically be invited to every free masterclass. And in the month of May, we're having 2 free masterclasses because next week, so this is going to be the 3rd week in May, our guy, Jamie Miller, you've seen him on the podcast. Jamie. You've seen him speak at Mortgage Con. Next year, he already knows he's speaking at UWM Live. Jamie Miller, the Art of Conscious Communication, he is doing his first call as a TLOP faculty member for all. So it's a free call. It's a masterclass. And he went one step further and said, tell all of your loan officer friends to bring a realtor or 2, right? Because he teaches the art of communication. So it's not mortgage specific. This is communication to communicate better with your spouse, with your children, with your boss, your clients, or your customers. So make sure you're being a frequent visitor to tloponline.com. You're signed up for the newsletter, and know that we offer at least 1 free masterclass, but here in May of 2025, we're offering 2. And then finally, if you're in a place in your career and you're looking to be coached, this is business coaching and sales training. Hands down, we are the number 1 value in the mortgage industry. We give you, for $3,000 a year, we give you what everyone else is charging, $3,000 a month. Massive value. You are the product. This is your business. You need to be investing in your future success. On that note, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, because there's even more training videos, free training videos on YouTube, more than just what we push out on Spotify and Apple. Understand that sharing is caring. So if you like this type of content, I bet you know at least 2 people, if not 3, that also would benefit. Make sure that you are encouraging them to subscribe to our YouTube channel, download us on Spotify and Apple. He is John Coleman. I am Dustin Owen. That's all the time we have for you today, but we do look forward to catching you on the next episode. Peace.